sharing this day with us, coming out in a wintry morning. So we appreciate that. And we'll start with a meditation. For those of you that are new, do whatever you feel comfortable. I'll try to give some explanation, but just whatever feels comfortable is what to do. That's the best thing. And so we'll do a little bit of meditation to begin with, focusing on the breath for 10 minutes. And then I'll lead a guided meditation, and that's related to chapter 63. We're going through this book. We're getting close to the end. And this book, An Open-Hearted Life by Venerable Children and Russell Coates, who is a psychologist. And this book teaches methods to develop our compassion. And so we're in chapter 63, and that is compassion as the antidote to critical, judgmental mind. So we're in the part of compassion in action, or how to apply antidotes to transform our mind. So it's a very rich part of the book, certainly. So we'll begin with some breathing meditation. So I'll lead us through how we prepare for this. And so if you're on the chair, having your feet flat on the floor is good. We generally put our hands in our lap. The right hand is over the left with the thumbs touching up against the belly. And so you want to bring your awareness inward. We want to sit in a position that is comfortable but conducive for meditation. So having our back straight, you can lift up your breastbone a bit, and that automatically gets your posture in a good form. Shoulders relaxed. If you feel any tension in your body, you can imagine it just melting and flowing out of you, sinking into the earth below, and leaving your body very light and relaxed, free of tension as much as possible. You can either lower your eyes or close them, either way, whichever is more comfortable for you. If you have your eyes closed and you start getting drowsy, then open them just a little bit to let some light in so that you can stay more aware and not so kind of drowsy. So already we can feel the difference in the energy in the room, the energy in our bodies. When we slow down, so now we'll focus on the body breathing. It certainly knows how to breathe, so it can be very natural. We don't need to manipulate the breath at all. So no need to think about kind of controlling it. Just let your body breathe as it normally does. And then we let our mind relax. You may have thoughts in your mind about past activities, what happened earlier in the day, what happened yesterday. So let go of these past thoughts. The past is over. It's not going to happen again. Often we have thoughts of the future, what we'll do later today or tomorrow in the future. But we don't know what is going to happen in the future. Of course, sometimes we make plans, think about the future, but this isn't the time for that. So we want to keep our mind right here in the present moment, in this present place. So we can use the breath as the object to focus on. And you can either focus your attention on the nostrils where the air moves in and out most prominently. You can put your focus there. Or you can put your focus on the rise and fall of the belly as we inhale and then exhale. And so pick one of those places and then keep your attention to that area. Now, of course, our mind has a tendency to wander away from the breath. Either a thought comes in the mind, we hear a noise. So when that happens, when you notice that, let go of that, either the thought or the sound you heard. Leave that distraction aside and move your mind back to the breath very gently. Make no judgment about how many times you refocus your mind on the breath. This is the actual method for making the mind more focused, more concentrated. And so we'll do that for about 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Then I'll set a motivation. And so now, let's generate a positive motivation or intention for our time together. When we have a positive intention or motivation, our mind tends to follow that. And the best motivation we can have is altruism, caring about others, wanting to help others as much as we can, wanting them to be free of their problems, their pain, and to have greater happiness and peace. So together we can participate in the activities today, which will help us to have greater knowledge and skills in becoming more beneficial to others. And so let's think, let the activities of today help me to help others and to make the world a better place. So now that we've calmed our mind and body down and set a vast motivation, we can move into analyzing now. So analytic meditation is using focused thinking in order to help our mind see things in a more realistic and positive way. And so in this meditation, we're going to think about our judgmental attitudes or critical attitudes, and thinking about how to replace those with compassion. So let's begin by thinking about people in our lives that we tend to be judgmental or critical about. These can be strangers. These can be those that are difficult, that we have difficulty with, or those that we're close with. And so pick one person, bring one person into your mind, and remember a judgmental thought you recently had regarding that person. Something that they did or said, maybe even how they looked. Bring that person to mind now. We can see how it's pretty easy to call up a critical thought that we had of somebody. We can even feel how that affects our body, our mind. So we want to now shift our focus in our mind to an attitude of compassion. So the first thing that we can do is make a half smile. Just let your mouth smile a little bit. See how that softens your facial muscles. And now open your heart. And so when we open our heart, we have acceptance. Our perspective is very wide. Our body and mind are relaxed. So see how that feels in the body and in the mind now. Work with that a little bit. And now let's deepen our compassion for the person that we brought to mind to begin with. So bring that person into your mind's eye. Imagine them. And then think, They are just like me, wanting happiness and not wanting suffering. So bringing equanimity into our mind, seeing on the most basic level, no matter what people's story are, what they're involved in, all of their actions are trying to get happiness and trying to avoid suffering, and just like me. And when I remember that, then I am connected to them. And then that opens the door for them to be connected to me. We can also consciously open up our perspective by thinking there are many experiences and conditions that have led to their behavior that I don't know about. So it's very complicated. No person is just one behavior. So if my goal is to develop my compassion, then I can remind myself how all the people are so different that I come in contact with. But they're just like me, wanting happiness and not wanting suffering. Now, if you keep this internal compassionate attitude, how will that help that person? Now, if you keep this open-hearted, compassionate attitude, how is that going to affect you? How will it be beneficial to you? So now use your imagination and bring the person you focused on to mind. Do you feel less judgmental toward them when you picture them in your mind's eye? Has there been any change? So practicing this method, we do have the ability to move our thoughts to compassion from judgment. And like anything, the more we practice it, the stronger that becomes. So now we can dedicate the merit of this meditation